All right, hey everybody, welcome back. So this screencast is for the application challenges with that goes with the first set of live coding notes for Unit 3. So these are the application challenges that go with the for loop notes and the range function. All right, so these are spelled out for you in the starter code. So you can go ahead and move through these and kind of just solve them based on the text that's written here. Um, and then after solving the each one of them, you can come back here one at a time and watch me solve it. And you can kind of check your work before you move on to the next one, right? Because they get a little bit progressively harder as they go, with the pennies for pay being the most difficult. Right? So that's the way I suggest you tackle these. So start with bug collector, solve it, and then come back and continue the video. Okay, so go ahead and pause now and solve bug collector. Okay, so when you're done, the bug collector is asking you to do something for a certain number of days. So if I was reading this prompt, I would key in on this for 7 days, right? So I think we're going to need a loop that happens 7 times. So we're going to write a program, and it keeps a running total of the number of bugs that this bug collector is collecting over the course of 7 days. Um, it should ask for the number of bugs collected every day. When the loop is finished, the program should display the total number of bugs collected. Um, and then it also says, can you get the day number to display every day as well? All right. Okay, so so for our example, so we know we need a loop that's going to happen 7 times. So we're going to say for and each um, Uh, 7 is the number of days. So we're going to use day for our looping variable name. So we'll say for day in a range that happens 7 times. Because we're talking about days, we'll start with the numbering with 1 and we'll go up to and including 7. So we'll have to go to 8. And then each time around this loop, every day, I want to go ahead and ask the user for the number of bugs that they collected that day. Right? This is going to be needing to be a number, so we'll convert it to an integer. We'll user input, say how many bugs did you collect on day? And part of this question asks you is, could you put the day number in here? So let's do that. So we'll add the day number represented by our a looping variable. So we'll add the day number in here, end it with a question mark, like so. All right, so we'll ask every day, we'll ask them for how many bugs they collected. And then we're going to need to add that to a total. So we're going to have to initialize that outside of our loop. So we'll start a total at 0. Every time we collect some bugs, we'll add that value to our total. And when all said and done, after all 7 days, we should have our bug collection totaled up. And we will print it out. So we'll say you collected. So we'll say you collected a total of, let's use the comma, you collected a total of total bugs. We test this out. Some of the other code from above running. So run through this. Bug collector. So enter to begin. How many bugs did you collect? So let's use 5, 10, 5, 1, 5, 10, and All right, so collected a total of 37 bugs overall. All right, that's bug collector. All right, next one, calories burned. All right, so see if you can write a program that solves this one. You're trying to figure out how many calories you burned over these minute intervals here. Okay, so pause the video and go ahead and try and solve that one. All right, welcome back. So this one we're running, and as we run, we're going to be burning 3.9 calories per minute, according to this little word problem. All right, so we're going to use a loop. We're going to display how many calories we burn at these set intervals of 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And display the number of minutes without hard coding them. Okay. So one easy way to think about this is just look at one example. So let's just say at 10 minutes, how many calories would you have burned? Well, if we were burning 3.9 per minute, the calculation is just 3.9 times 10. Right? So that means we can basically take our 3.9 and multiply it by these numbers and get our calories burned. Right? Which means we need to access these numbers. Right? Using the range function, we have an easy way to do that, right? These are 5-minute interval values, so we can use our step value from our range function to achieve this. So we'll use mins since we're talking about minutes for our looping variable name, and then we'll start our range at 10. We're going to go up to 30, so we'll need to add go up to 31, stepping by 5, and then we can directly print what we need to. So we'll say you will burn 3.9 multiplied by the current minute value. So if you run for that many minutes, so however many minutes it was. Okay, let's run this and see if it works. Bug collector. Now that works. All right. Press enter to begin. All right, so we after 10 minutes, like we said, 3.9 times 10, 39 calories, and then incrementing up. At 30 minutes, looks like you have burned 117 calories. Okay, last one is called pennies for pay. So write a program assuming that a salary on day 1 is 1 penny. So the first day you earn 1 penny, 2 pennies the second day, and then it doubles every day there on out. It should ask the user for the number of days worked. So there's going to be user input indicating how many days you worked. Salary doubles every day, and then you're displaying a table showing what the actual salary was for each day. Okay, and then you're going to show the total pay at the end of the period. Okay, so a little harder one here. See if you can solve this. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and then resume when you're ready. All right, so for this one, this allowed the user to specify how many days, right, this was going to happen. So the days is going to indicate how many times we need to go, right? How many days do we need to do this calculation for? So we need to know the days in order to set up our for loop. So we're going to go ahead and prompt the user for that to start here. And we will need this to be a number. So, so how many days did you work? Okay. And the way I'm going to set up this loop, I'm going to have my salary start at 1 cent, because it says right here that on the very first day, the salary is going to be 1 penny. All right, so I'm building into my assumptions that the salary starts at 1. We also need to know the total at the end, it said, right? At the end, total pay at the end of the period. So we're also going to keep track of that. So I'll need a variable to do that. And what we're doing here, it says, is we're displaying a table that shows what the salary was each day. So every time a new day occurs, as this loop runs, I need to be printing out a column or a row in my table. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and print out some table headers for myself. So we got day and salary on that day. All right. So then we're going to create the loop that will execute for that number of days. So for day and range days. So 0 up to whatever they put in for the day amount. Remember, that's specified by the user up here. So if they put in 10, this would be 0 through 9 as an example. All right. And we're going to go ahead and print out the current day value. So we're going to go ahead and print out the day, but remember, range starts a range at 0. So you could certainly set this up other ways. The way I wrote this is to get the actual correct day count, every day variable is going to be 1 less than the actual day. Right? Because I don't want to start counting the days at 0. I want to start counting the days at 1. So day plus 1 will give me 1 printed out here for the first day, and then 2, 3, etc. For the rest of the days. Got a tab character up here. So I'll include that down here as well. And then it says it wants to print out the salary every day. So the salary on day 1 is 1 cent. So we'll print that out. Right. Now, my days should be working at this point, so I can print out however many days there are. I just need to do the salary calculation. It's the only thing I have left. Right. So after day 1, how do we get the salary amount for day 2? You have to take salary multiplied by times equals 2. Right, so we'll double salary. Now, also before we even do that, though, we want to keep track of our total salary. So after we get paid that 1 cent on day 1, I want to increment my total variable. We'll increase the total by the salary, and then we'll double it before the next iteration of our loop, which will be the next day. Right, once we reach that last day, right, we will have totaled that last day's salary. It'll double again at this point, but it doesn't matter because our loop is going to end. And then all we care really about at this point is the total because we've already printed out our columns. So we'll go ahead and print the total pay. The end of the period is round it out. Total. Okay, let's see if that works. Oh, so we have an error. All right, let's see what's happened here. So days, name days is not defined. Okay. Oh, geez. Yeah. So up here at the very top, I tried to initialize days and I put a minus instead of a assignment operator. That's going to be a problem. Okay. See if that's the only error I did. How many days did you work? Let's say You worked every day in the month, and the month had 30 days. Okay, cool. All right, so worked 30 days. Every day gets printed over here, starting at 1 all the way to 30. And then our salary was 1 cent. And if we double it every day, 2, 4, 8, 16. All right, looks like this is working. All the way up to day 30, you can see we're making a fortune. So cool, looks like it's working. All right, and then cumulative, right, everything totaled up, you're really in the money now, right, after 30 days if you're doubling. Um, cool. All right. So hopefully that was useful. And remember, you can come back and watch this again and again if you're struggling with for loops. You can come back to these little challenges to help yourself out.